This YCN segment is brought to you by Lake Sunapee Visiting Nurse Association and Hospice.
YCN Game of the Week is brought to you by La Valley Building Supply, home improvement and construction from concept to completion. Ramontos in Claremont, always fresh, always delicious. Top Stitch Embroidery, the best for your team and so much more. Lowen Windows of Vermont and New Hampshire, providing solution-oriented, extraordinary service before, during, and after the sale. Mascoma Savings Bank. With no shareholders to please, they are committed to remaining independent and to reinvesting profits in our community. Bubba's Bar and Grill, offering fresh salads, hearty sandwiches, brick oven pizza, entrees, and award-winning seafood chowder. Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire. MJ Harrington and Company, jewelers and designers since 1948. And by H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating, your local energy specialist.
Welcome back to Hanover High School. 12 minutes up on the board, second quarter about to begin. It'll be first and goal for Bo from the right hash mark at the Hanover 5-yard line. Not much wind to speak of, 30 degrees outside, but the sun is shining right in the Falcons' faces. It will be, at least for this second quarter, on offense. Harkins coming out under center. Again, 3 running backs in the backfield. Kimball, the deepest back. They give it to him. Stutter step. Is he in? He makes it to the goal line and touchdown! Bo is on the board with 11:53 to go in the second quarter. The Falcons come within 1 pending the extra point. And a good move by Kimball. You saw him right when he got that handoff, Jeremy. He sort of juked and jived a little bit. 5-yard touchdown run. And that puts the Falcons on the board.
Nice move going up the middle, but you're right. Making that one little step to deke the defender, and the touchdown, 5-yard run.
So this is Matthew Scranton, a senior, on to attempt the kick. I apologize, that's Matthew Nichols, the junior, on to attempt the extra point. Spot placed down, kick is up, and it is good. So the Falcons have marched down the field and tied it up. 11:53 to go in the second quarter. It's now Hanover 7 and Bo 7. We'll be back with more action after this on YCN's Game of the Week.
This YCN segment is brought to you by MJ Harrington and Company, jewelers and designers since 1948.
Back here in Hanover, New Hampshire, 11:53 remaining in the second quarter. Hanover and Bo tied at 7 apiece.
Today's telecast is being brought to you in part by Top Stitch Embroidery, the best for your team, and so much more. And MJ Harrington Jewelry and Designers in Newport, New Hampshire. And the last touchdown, 5-yard touchdown run there. The drive started at the Falcons' 20-yard line. So a nice 80-yard drive, 8 plays. And if my math is correct, it's a 3-minute and 47-second drive. So tying the game up, and that's what we expected. Both teams able to move the ball on the ground, and we saw Bo do it the entire 80 yards and a couple penalties.
Hanover comes into today's contest undefeated, 9-0, 7-2. That's the Falcons' record, with a big win over the number 1 seed Wyndham last week. Short kickoff being fielded by one of the up men for Hanover. Across the 35 to about the 40. And for the Marauders, that looked like Michael Stager. And that's where the Marauders will start for their first possession of the second quarter. 11:46 to go in the second. We're tied at 7. First and 10 for the Marauders at their own 41-yard line. Balanced so far. You know, Bo had that turnover, that fumble, but also Hanover committed a couple of illegal shift penalties back earlier in the first quarter.
Yeah, neither team really staking a claim to as the best team on the field. Both really moving the ball nicely when they had the ball one drive, but also stalling out.
Mosenthal under center, fakes the handoff, rolls to his right, now fires, quick little screen set up, and that's Salea making the catch and gets out to about midfield. Kicker, split end, wide receiver, running back,
he can do it all. And that's definitely one thing that Hanover is really claiming dominance to so far, is the quarterback when he drops back to pass. Like we mentioned, yet to see a pass from Harkin, but Mosenthal, nice touch there. Salea out in the flat, picks up yards after the catch, and is really a well-balanced all-around Marauder team.
9 yards on the reception, so Hanover second and a long one from midfield. They picked up this first down, still spinning and trying to get more yardage for the Marauders. They did make it into Bo territory, and that's Mosenthal. I'm sorry, that's not Mosenthal. Coming across the line, that's Simon Roach. 21 and 11.
And obviously the short field that Hanover started with, I don't know if that was intentional or just kind of popped it up, but starting with the ball at their own 41 makes it a little bit easier on this team.
Yeah, the short kickoff after the Bow score. Delayed handoff this time, sort of a counter play, and that goes nowhere. Great penetration on the Bow defense right there. Nolan Fatu, a senior, got through, and for a loss now of about a yard. Still, that's got to boost your confidence on defense if you're the Falcons.
Stay tuned at the end of our telecast for the H.R. Clough Kearsarge Heating Turning Up the Heat Player of the Game. We will choose the team member that had the greatest impact.
2nd and 11, 10:15 to play, second quarter. Hanover 7, Bow 7. Hanover with the football at midfield, back to pass. Mosenthal looking left, being flushed. He'll take off himself across the 45, dragging a tackler, gets down to the 40-yard line. So a pickup of about 10. He'll still be a bit shy of the first down by about 2 yards, but good awareness to find that nobody was open and see that lane to run straight through.
Very good awareness, and a lot of times in high school football, they'll have the tendency to panic and to run into a defender, or worse, hold the ball too long and then get sacked for a big loss. But Mosenthal, the senior, he's a leader. He saw the hole up the middle, a good 8-yard pickup.
Huge 3rd down and 2 here with 9:35 to go in the second quarter. Mosenthal takes the snap, drives ahead. I don't think he got it. Might have been close. He was on his way and got popped back. And the officials look like they'll need a measurement. No, they'll just say 4th down. So he's a half-yard short. So now I thought that 3rd down was big. 4th down even bigger. 4th and a half of a yard to go for Hanover. The ball just inside the Bow 39-yard line. Tied at 7, second quarter, 9 minutes to play. Division II semifinals, Mosenthal under center. Does he keep it himself? Nope, handoff straight up the middle. Hanover's got the first down and more. Still pushing to the 30, to the 28-yard line. And we'll have to wait till they unpile to find out who carried that, but there is another set of legs churning. And for Hanover, Caleb Putnam picks up the first down and more. That was impressive on the far side of the field.
And not a bad little run on just an inside handoff, which all they wanted was to get the yard or half yard to get the first down. They end up picking up 10 yards on that play, and that's the power of that Hanover offensive line, able to push Bow and get them on their heels.
7th play of the drive coming up for the Marauders. It started at their own 41, and they've taken off about 3 minutes on the clock. Mosenthal under center once again. Rolls out to his left. He'll try to keep this. He's back at the 35, and he gets wrapped up at the 33-yard line. Great defensive penetration down the line once again by Ben Kimball. And a loss of about 4 yards on the play, and that brings up 2nd and 14 for the Marauders back at the 32-yard line.
Mosenthal had a few blockers out in front of him, but there were more defenders for the Falcons. And as you mentioned, Kimball coming up with the big tackle, and really one of the worst plays so far for Hanover.
2nd and 14, ball at the 32-yard line. Marauders send a man in motion. Mosenthal back to pass. Looks right, fires, it's tipped and intercepted. It's picked off by Bow. Here's Corvu. He has it at the 35, brought down at the 37-yard line. Big stand for the Falcons. And a turnover causes the offense for Hanover to come off the field a bit dejected, especially after picking up that 4th and less than 1 and getting big yardage. A pass play causes an interception, and the Falcons have it.
Yeah, very disappointing if you're the Marauders, where you were moving the ball nicely, like you said, picking up the first down, and then all of a sudden Mosenthal, you said that ball might have gotten tipped, but just kind of floated out there, lame duck, and right into the hands of Corvu, and the first down here for the Falcons on their own 38-yard line.
An 8-play drive gets stonewalled by Bow. Handoff this time, Kimball on the left-hand side across the 40, up to about the 45-yard line. Second quarter, Hanover and Bow tied at 7. 7:33 remaining here in the D2 semifinals. I mentioned these two teams have a bit of history. And Bow coming in the number 8 seed, knocking off Windham last week.
And Bow has a big history, 5 straight times in the semifinals. Hanover has been here before, but this is their 2nd straight time against Bow.
Under center to give this time goes to Kimball. And he picks up enough for the first down as he's just inside Hanover territory. With 7:07 remaining in the second quarter.
Today's game is being brought to you in part by Ramontos in Claremont. Always fresh, always delicious. In addition to airing on our 3 TV stations, all YCN games are posted at ycnnow.com.
And watch around the country and around the world. 1st and 10 for Bo at the Hanover 49-yard line going into the sun. Ball on the left hash mark. Harkins under center. Kimball and also Corvu in the backfield. Handoff and off to the right-hand side for maybe a gain of about 2 or 3. That is Corvu. You know, if you're Hanover right now and you're looking at this team, first of all, I don't think Hanover was expecting to play Bo. I really don't. With the 8th seed and Bo knocking off the number 1 seed, Hanover 9-0 too. The seeding was maybe a little bit debatable. They get the number 4 seed. You know, being undefeated, what else you got to do for me?
Right, exactly. It was a tough 4 seed for an undefeated team.
And off this time to Corvu. He's got room off the left-hand side across the 40 and down to the 38-yard line. That is enough for another Falcons first down. So Bo obviously coming in with a chip on their shoulder into the whole playoffs and taking it out on Wyndham last week. Hanover 9-0, number 4 seed out of 8. Hey, you know, might be playing with a bit of a chip on their shoulder too.
Yeah, they weren't expecting to get this home game, as you mentioned, but both these teams having some common opponents, both of them playing Lebanon this year, John Stark as well, so some film on each other, but haven't played each other yet this year.
And off this time, again to Corvu, dragging tacklers with him as he picks up another 5 yards, down to about the Hanover 32-yard line. We're tied at 7, second quarter, 5:40 and counting remaining before halftime here in this D2 semifinal matchup from Hanover, New Hampshire. Along with Jeremy Stout, I'm Dave Collins. Thanks to Greg and Alex who are with us today. Braving the elements. I told you, you know, sunny day. It might not work so well for the Falcons right now as they're facing into the sun, but at least the sun is out.
That's true.
It's 30 degrees. It's chilly. No snow or rain, though. Thankful for that today.
Thinking positive. Can always count on you, Dave.
Thank you. Thank you, Jerry. Under center this time is Harkins for Bo. It is a 2nd and 5. Ball is loose, and boy, Kimball did a great job to jump on top of that one. Could have been disaster for Bo, but this will bring up an interesting call right here with 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Call it a 3rd and 8 for Bo at the Hanover 37-yard line.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting couple of downs here because probably not in field goal range, a deep field goal. So you got to think you'd want to try and go for it on 4th down. So you got 2 plays essentially to try and pick up the first down. So if you look at it like that, you don't have to get all of it back on this one play.
Yeah, and I think this is definitely 4-down territory for the Falcons. By the way, Hanover with 2 timeouts remaining in this half. Bo with 3 if they want to think it over. 3rd and 9 for Bo at the 37 of Hanover. Back to pass for the first time. This is Harkins, has plenty of time, sends the receiver deep, fires towards the end zone. Oh, and it's dropped. Might have been tipped, but it was dropped right at the goal line by Mark Borak. Otherwise, that could have been 6. Harkins has an arm on him, especially he's rolling away, but the pass falls incomplete, and it'll bring up 4th down and 9.
3 black jerseys back there, and it looked like one of them, Mosenthal, might have had that one lined up. Also back there, number 28, Graham Penfield. Looked like they had it lined up, and on the 3rd man, Kalen Thomas. But it went through the defender's hands and then went through the receiver's hands, falling incomplete and a 4th down.
Hanover 7, Bo 7. Second quarter, 4:19 remaining. 4th and 9. Now Harkins in the shotgun for the first time. 3 receivers to the near side, 2 to the far side. Looking left, fires over the middle. It is caught. First down and more. As breaking tackles and making his way down to the 10-yard line for Bo is Jack Corvu. And that's the most important first down that Bo has picked up in this ballgame so far on the pass play.
And a beautiful pass play as we take a look at it here, where the guy was wide open, the receiver was wide open. Harkin, a beautiful pass. I'm surprised we haven't seen that more often. You don't see him throw at all. You expect him not to be able to throw that well. He did a great job right there.
Corvu in the seam made that catch. So they'll call it 1st and 10 from the Hanover 11. Handoff, and that's Kimball pushing his way towards the 8, maybe the 7-yard line. Here's the other thing. The 2 pass plays that Harkins has had for Bo, he's had plenty of time to survey the scene once or twice.
Exactly. Plenty of time, plenty of arm, really good awareness by Harkin dropping back. So you wonder if they might open it up a little bit more depending on how this game goes later in the game, probably the second half.
3:30 and counting to play in the second quarter. Hanover and Bo tied at 7, but the Falcons are on the doorstep. 2nd and 7, they can still pick up a first down without a touchdown. Handoff left-hand side. Corvu bounces off a man, spins forward, and gets down to about the 2. He'll be still shy of the first down by about a half of yard, it looks like.
Today's game is being brought in part by Echo Communications. Call them for all your printing needs. And Lowen Windows of Vermont and New Hampshire, providing solution-oriented, extraordinary service before, during, and after the sale.
11th play coming up for the Falcons. It started at their own 38-yard line. So far, they've eaten up just about 5 minutes off this second quarter clock. And now a timeout will be taken by Bo. So that leaves both teams with 2 timeouts remaining for the first half. It'll be 3rd and 1 for Bo from the Hanover 2. We'll take a break, tell you what happens next. 2:49 to go in the second quarter. It's Hanover and Bo tied at 7. You're watching YCN's Game of the Week.
This YCN segment is brought to you by Mount Sunapee Resort. Fun for all seasons.
Welcome back to Hanover, New Hampshire. Division II semifinal matchup. Bo and Hanover tied at 7. Second quarter, 2 minutes and 49 seconds to go. It'll be a 3rd down and 1 for the Falcons going left to right. They don't need the touchdown. They need about a yard to get the first down, although they would prefer the touchdown. After the timeout was called by Hanover, both teams left with 2 for the first half. Corvu gets the handoff. He's into the end zone, and the Falcons take the lead with 2:45 remaining on the second quarter clock. It's now Bo 13 and Hanover 7. And that caps off a 12-play drive, Jeremy. It went 5 minutes and 62 yards for Bo. That's what you call efficiency right there. And Corvu cops it off with a 2-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, very nicely done. Kept it on the ground for all but 2 plays, 1 for 2. The biggest one was the 4th down conversion. And then they put it back on the ground and put it in the end zone.
Nichols on to attempt the extra point. Snap plays down. Kick is low and wide left. And oh boy, let's mark that down as well, as the extra point is no good, wide left. Bo does take the lead, but this time only by 6 points. 13-7. The Falcons on top, 2:45 to go in the second quarter. Jeremy and I will be back with the kickoff right after this on YCN's Game of the Week.
This YCN segment is brought to you by New London Hospital, an affiliate of Dartmouth Hitchcock.
It's the Division II state semifinal football matchup between Bo and Hanover here in the Upper Valley. Thanks for joining us on YCN's Game of the Week along with Jeremy Stout. I'm Dave Collins. 13-7, Bo on top. They're about to kick off with 2:45 to go before halftime. Jeremy, an impressive drive by the Falcons.
Very nice drive, 60-plus yard drive. Like you said, 12 plays, 5 minutes. Really nicely done to go on top.
Robbins with the kickoff, sends it short, picked up by Hanover at the 20. There's a hole at the 30, 35, and out to about the 40-yard line. That's Caleb Putnam on the return. So Hanover with decent field position. With 2:40 to go in the second quarter, they trail 13-7, and that was actually Kalen Thomas on the return. Both teams with 2 timeouts remaining here in the first half.
If you miss any of our local programs on our 3 YCN network stations, you can always watch our YCN shows and games anytime on our website at ycnnow.com.
1st and 10 for Hanover at their own 40-yard line, moving right to left. Pitch back. And off to the right-hand side is Putnam. Gets across the 45 and about down to the 47-yard line.
And if you're Hanover here, obviously want to hurry up offense, but don't need to hurry too much with the timeouts and plus over 2 minutes to go. Plenty of time, but have some urgency.
Mosenthal under center. Pitch back once again. Right-hand side. Trying between the guard and the tackle. That's Putnam. Gets to about midfield, and the officials stop the clock with 2:06 remaining in the second quarter. And that's to move the chain. So officially a first down for Hanover. So now they are inside Bo territory. 13-7, Bo on top, 2:06 before halftime.
And because of the leg of their senior kicker, Salaya, they are able to have a little bit of safety in the back of their minds that they don't have to get too close. They can let him kick a pretty deep football. So 2 timeouts, 2 minutes to go, 49 yards.
Clock running again, 1:53, 1:52. Mosenthal under center, rolls to his left. Will he keep it? Nope. looking to pass, gets pressured, and gets brought down at the 44-yard line. Huge defensive play for Bo. Nolan Fitzu along with help from Matthew Nichols for the big loss. The clock continues to roll, Jeremy, 134, 133. And now Hanover looking at a 2nd and 17 back at their own territory at their own 44.
YCN is now affiliated with the Heroes and Icons Network, drawing from timeless classics as well as more contemporary TV. All eyes are on HI.
2 timeouts remaining for both teams here in the first half. Mosenthal under center, has one receiver split out to the far side of the field. Handoff up the gut, juking and jiving, but getting only maybe a yard right there with Simon Roach. And that'll bring up 3rd down for the Marauders as we're down to a minute remaining here in the second.
Now if you're Hanover, just keep it on the ground inside a minute. Don't really want to give the Falcons the ball back with much time. So keep it on the ground, maybe pick up a 1st down if you're lucky. If not, punt it away and go into the locker room only trailing by 6.
3rd and 14, and I agree not to call timeout if you're Bo right here because you know Hanover's burnt you on 2 pass plays so far. And Bo looks confused right now. We're down to 31 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Hanover with the ball. Pitch out from Mosenthal to the right-hand side. And getting about 5 yards is Caleb Putnam, but that's about it. And the clock continues to roll, and I think both teams might be content with just putting the ball on ice, going into the locker room with the score the way it is. And now, no, we get a timeout called, and it'll be by Hanover. That's an interesting call. So that leaves the Marauders with 1, and the Falcons with 1 timeout, or with 2 timeouts rather. And here's what I'm thinking. Maybe, do you go for the Hail Mary? Although if you turn it over, there's still too much time on the clock.
Right, I guess you go for something deep down the field, or maybe you only go for 10, 15 yards trying to get it, or 15, 20 yards trying to get into field goal range, and then hope that if you do turn it over on downs, you put 8 guys back there and swat the ball away. So maybe a little risky, you're right, by Hanover, but it does look like they might be punting it anyway. So maybe they just want to talk it over and see what they see. Just talk through their strategy.
I think Sam Cavallaro or Mike Ivanovsky on the sidelines for Hanover is like, maybe, but nah, let's be safe right now. And this is the safe bet for Hanover to punt it away. As Salea stands back at his own 39-yard line. Bo bringing everybody tight to the line. Salea gets off a low wobbly kick, takes a Hanover bounce down to the 10, down to the 5, and they will stop it just shy of the goal line. And with 5.4 seconds remaining in the second quarter, Falcons will have 99 yards to go to pull off a miracle before halftime.
Well, you couldn't have asked for a better result there if you're the punt team, because that thing is inside the Falcons' 1-yard line. Yeah. And now, if you're the Falcons, you got to be careful. You got to get it out of the end zone.
That's a great point right there. It's not just one of those you can't take a knee or else it'll be 2 points for Hanover with the safety. So you've got to push forward, and you have to make sure that there's not a holding penalty called in the end zone against your team. That's a safety as well. So Falcons will just look to get out of the shadows of their own goalpost or an inch further.
I mean, if you're the Falcons, get in the shotgun and trying to run around and then throw it deep for an incompletion. But the more time you hold the ball, obviously the more chances you have of getting tackled.
Or you don't want that penalty of intentional grounding in the end zone. There's 2 points for the other team. So a little tricky scenario right here. As the quarterback, Matthew Harkins, will come under center for Bo. They got to get out of their own end zone, their own way, and he'll just toss it out of bounds towards the Hanover sideline, and that is the smartest move that he could have made, but there's still a 1/10 of a second on the clock. Whoa, boy.
So we'll have to do it one more time.
One more time. 13-7, Bo leading Hanover.
Well, if you're either of these teams going into the half, you've got to be happy. If you're Hanover, obviously disappointed down by 1, but they moved the ball nicely a couple drives.
Yep.
If you're Bo, after a tough first start, you're looking pretty good. 2 consecutive touchdowns.
See if Harkins does the same thing again. Yep, he'll drop back and just throw it out of bounds. And that will lead us to zeros up on the scoreboard as the second quarter comes to a close. The number 8 seed in Division II, leading the number 4 seed, who, oh, by the way, are undefeated. The number 8 seed pulled an upset last week. Can they do it again? Well, we've got some more football to play. Halftime here in Hanover. Bo 13 and Hanover 7. We'll be back with first half stats and the start of the second half right after these words. You're watching YCN's Game of the Week.